Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a historic milestone in the evolution of air power and national defense. Boeing, a name synonymous with aerospace innovation, has officially been selected to develop the F-47, a sixth-generation fighter jet for the United States Air Force. This announcement signals the beginning of a new era in aerial combat and technological superiority. The F-47 will be more than just a fighter. It will be a networked, intelligent, and highly survivable combat platform designed for the challenges of 21st century warfare. Unlike previous generations, the F-47 will operate as part of a broader ecosystem, working in tandem with unmanned systems, satellites, and cyber assets. It's a fighter made not just to dominate the skies, but to shape the battle space. What sets the F-47 apart is not just its stealth or speed, but its cognitive capabilities. We're talking about AI-assisted decision-making, advanced electronic warfare systems, and next-gen propulsion, all integrated into one aircraft. It represents a leap, not a step, in military aviation. With adversaries rapidly advancing their own technologies, the need for air dominance has never been more urgent. The F-47 ensures that the U.S. maintains the strategic edge, not just today, but for decades to come. As this ambitious project takes flight, it reflects the enduring partnership between innovation, defense, and national security. The skies may be vast, but with the F-47, the future belongs to those who lead. Thank you. Thank you. Have you ever paused and looked up at the vastness of the sky? Not just to admire its beauty, but to listen to the whispers of forgotten giants. One such whisper belongs to the F-47. The F-47 was not merely a fighter aircraft. It was a giant, a thunderous presence in the skies, a machine built not just with metal, but with spirit, with resilience, with raw, unapologetic power. They called it the Jug, not because it was elegant, but because it was unbreakable. It could be shot, scarred, and battered, yet it would still fly. Fly with a roar that shook the very air around it. In World War II and again in Korea, the F-47 flew low, flew hard, delivering not just bombs, but hope to those on the ground who heard its engines overhead and knew they were not alone. But today, who speaks of the F-47? F-47. Who remembers this sky warrior? In our obsession with sleekness and stealth, we have forgotten strength. We have forgotten soul. The F-47 was not designed to impress. It was designed to endure, and in that it was a master. Let us not become a people who forget. For if we forget the giants who carried us through fire, we may also forget what it means to rise above the storm. The F-47 is not gone. It lives in the silence between the clouds. It lives in the courage of those who dare to take flight. Not to be seen, but to serve. Let us bow. To the forgotten giant of the skies, the F-47, a machine that became legend. In the world of aviation, many aircraft have come and gone. Sleek designs, high-tech features, futuristic visions. But the F-47 was something else. It was not crafted to win beauty contests in the sky. It was built to survive. It did not rely on elegance. It relied on raw power. With a massive frame, a beastly engine, and wings that could carry the weight of war, the F-47 was not a machine you admired from afar. It was a presence you felt deep in your bones as it thundered overhead. It was not made to impress the eye. It was forged to challenge death and still come back breathing. To call it just a machine is to miss its essence. It was a warrior, a true kshatriya of the skies. When others fell under fire, the F-47 kept flying. When enemy flak burst in every direction, the F-47 pushed through. It was not the kind to flee the storm. It was the storm. Pilots did not just operate it, they trusted it with their lives. That trust was not born out of manuals and machinery, but from the lived reality that this aircraft, this warrior, could carry them through hell and bring them home. So, when we speak of the F-47, let us not speak of rivets and blueprints. Let us speak of grit, of courage, of the fierce spirit that refuses to yield. The F-47 was not a product of technology alone. It was born from necessity, sharpened by fire, and sustained by the will to endure. It was not just metal in motion, it was spirit taking flight. The F-47 was not built to parade on airstrips. It was built to withstand fire and fury. In the chaos of World War II, when the skies were burning and hope hung by a thread, this aircraft flew into the storm, not away from it. While others faltered at altitude or lost stability under stress, the F-47 remained composed, like a seasoned yogi amidst the noise of battle. It was an aircraft that pilots would rather be inside of when all hell broke loose, not because it was pretty, but because it was dependable. Its legacy did not end with that war. No, even when jet aircraft began to make their entrance, the F-47 still roared across the skies of Korea. While others evolved into speed, it evolved into persistence. It flew low, close to the danger, close to the soldiers who needed its cover. And despite the evolving world of aviation, the F-47 was not outdated. It was irreplaceable. It was not designed for show. It was forged in necessity, and it delivered again and again. In two brutal wars, it proved not just what it could do, but what it could endure. And sometimes it is not brilliance, but endurance that wins the battle and carries the soul home. They didn't call it the jug as a term of mockery. No, it was a name born out of reverence, of deep, unspoken respect. The F-47, with its barrel-like body and wide stance, was not sleek like the other aircraft of its time. It was bulky, grounded, almost stubborn in its design. But within that very heaviness was its secret strength. The F-47 could take punishment, the kind of punishment that would tear most aircraft apart mid-air. Bullet holes, shrapnel, even engine failures. And still, this bird would fly. That kind of resilience does not come from design alone. It comes from purpose. In the brutal theater of war, where moments decide life and death, the F-47 was not a decoration in the sky. It was a guardian. When the skies were hostile and the air thick with fire and fear, the pilots of the Jug trusted its strength. They knew if they were flying the F-47, they had a better chance of coming back. Its sheer ability to absorb damage and still deliver decisive strikes gave ground troops confidence. Just the sound of its engine overhead was reassurance enough. The Jug became more than a nickname. It became a legacy of loyalty, endurance, and unstoppable presence. In calling it the Jug, they honored more than shape. They honored spirit, for it is not the sleek that survives the storm. It is the solid. Not the glamorous that wins the war, but the grounded. Modern aviation has forgotten this giant in favor of newer, sleeker aircraft. Today, our skies are filled with stealthy shadows and digital precision. Aircraft are measured not by their heart, but their invisibility. In this race to erase presence, we have forgotten those who dared to be visible, those who bore the scars proudly, who roared rather than whispered. The F-47 does not belong to this age of silent dominance. It belonged to an era when presence mattered more than pretense, when a machine's worth was measured not in style, but in survival. Oh, what a tragedy it is that the very things that kept people alive, that held the line between chaos and control, are now archived as mere statistics. History often forgets the foundations upon which its towers are built. Today's jets may fly faster, higher, quieter, but without the F-47 and what it taught us about strength, none of this would be possible. In forgetting the F-47, we don't just forget a machine, we forget a mindset, a philosophy of courage in form. When speed becomes everything, we forget the power of staying grounded. And when memory fades, so does gratitude. The F-47 must not be just a footnote. It must be a reminder of what true strength looked like in full view of the world. The speech calls for remembrance and reverence for what the F-47 represented, strength with spirit. This aircraft was not merely a sum of its mechanical parts. It carried the spirit of every man who flew it, and every mission it flew for. In its design was a kind of ancient integrity, not to impress, but to protect, to serve. It didn't seek admiration, it earned it. The F-47 is not just a machine that once flew. It is a statement that strength without soul is empty, and power without purpose is useless. Remembrance is not nostalgia. It is reverence. It is the recognition that what we are today is because something, someone, some machine stood strong yesterday. And the F-47 stood strong, not for medals, not for ceremonies, but for the sacred duty of holding life together in the midst of destruction. This aircraft, though retired, must not be forgotten, because what it stood for is still needed today. So, what is it that makes something unforgettable? Is it beauty? Is it speed? Or is it the quiet strength that asks for nothing, yet gives everything? And the F-47 was not crafted to be remembered. It was crafted to serve, and in that service, it became sacred. It didn't fly to be seen. It flew to protect, to endure, to roar through fire so that others could live in peace. Today, the world may no longer speak its name. But the skies have not forgotten. The wind still carries the echo of its engine, and the earth still remembers the weight of its shadow. Flying low, flying true, let us not walk forward by stepping over the giants who carried us. Let us look back, not with sorrow, but with gratitude. Let us bow to the forgotten warrior, the F-47, a machine, a legend, a spirit that once ruled the heavens. In the noise of modern achievement, let us not lose the silent giants who made our flight possible. The F-47 is not gone. It is simply waiting for